If you're tired of starting over, you've tried to change your life so many times that now the thought of trying again makes you feel sick, numb, or even ashamed. Or maybe you want to finally make a change in your life, but you feel like it's too late. You're too old, things are too fixed, that it can't change. You're not alone, and it's not too late. Maybe you're the one who starts something. You feel hopeful, motivated. You journal, you set the goals, you buy the planner, and then life happens. You crash, you slip back, you stop, and then the voice in your head gets louder. You never stick to anything. You always mess it up. You're just lazy, broken, not like other people. You're not going to be successful. You're not like them. But here's the truth. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're tired. You're overwhelmed. You're doing the best you can with what you've got. And maybe what you've got is already too much on your plate. Maybe you've got the right idea, the right plan, but the systems are not working. None of that means you're the problem. We live in a world that tells women to do it all, be it all, manage it all. And when we can't, unsurprisingly, we're somehow to blame. We're the weak one, the one who should feel bad, who should try harder. But that's so wrong and so far from the truth. And you know what? I choose not to internalize or accept that. People can think what they want. People can believe what they want. I'm not going to believe that I have to follow a certain path, be a certain person, a certain way, do certain things. For example, I know there are so many women out there who feel the pressure to get into a relationship by a certain age. Otherwise it feels like society and everyone around you, maybe even your culture, looks down on you. Like there's something wrong with you. Like you're a failure, despite any of the other things you might have already done. And you know what? We can't change what other people think, but we can control what we choose to internalize and let in. Let alone all the physical actions and tasks we need to do. Nobody talks about the emotional weight you carry either. The invisible load, the constant mental tabs, remembering birthdays, chasing doctor's appointments, meal planning, work deadlines, checking in on friends, carrying emotional guilt, looking presentable, managing hormones for the parents out there, doing all the research into the best upbringing for our children. It's heavy. So of course you're tired. Of course you find it hard to be consistent. Consistency isn't the problem. Capacity is. You don't need another crash diet for your life. You need restoration, realignment, a new kind of reset. Let me give you some truths I wish more women heard. Progress is not perfection. If you keep aiming for a full life makeover, you'll keep burning out. Instead, ask, what's the smallest step I can take today that supports me without draining me? That might be aiming for 2.5 litres of water to be drank by the end of the day, making your bed and keeping the room semi-clean, sitting outside for 10 minutes with no distractions, or saying no to something small. Next, you're allowed to rest without guilt. Rest isn't a reward you earn after collapsing, it's the fuel, the strategy, the foundation. You cannot outwork your burnout, but you can out-care it. You can build a life where care, gentleness, and boundaries are normal, not rare. It's so hard to feel like you're allowed to rest, especially in some family situations or cultures, where it seems to be expected of the woman to constantly be on the go, to be moving, doing things, and showing up, and if they're seen sitting down or laying down, you're labelled with all sorts. I know what that feels like, the pressure, the internal voice that says you're not doing enough, the sideways glances from others. It's heavy weight to carry, this old idea that a woman's worth is measured by how much she does, by the relationships she has. But that belief is what's holding you back from becoming who you're meant to be. Let's rewrite that rule. Your body is not a machine that can run forever without fuel. It's a delicate system that needs care to thrive. Rest isn't the reward for being exhausted. It's the strategy that prevents the exhaustion in the first place. You are not being lazy when you rest. You're being smart. You're being intentional. You're building a foundation of strength so you can stand tall and hold your ground. So, how do we start? How do we give ourselves the permission when we've never been taught to? We start small. We start with micro rests. Maybe it's just 5 minutes. 5 minutes where you sit with a cup of tea and just look out the window. Nothing else. No phone, no lists, no guilt. Maybe it's setting a gentle boundary, saying, I need 15 minutes to myself before we start dinner. Maybe it's reframing it for yourself. Instead of feeling guilty, you tell yourself, I'm recharging my batteries so I can show up as the best version of me later. And here's the most beautiful part. A well-cared you is a gift to everyone around you. You become more patient, more present, and you finally have the energy to pursue those dreams and goals we've been talking about. You can't fill anyone else's cup from an empty one. So, the challenge is to challenge the old belief. Give yourself permission to be still, to be gentle. Your worth isn't in your endless to-do list. It's in you. All of you. You deserve to be rested. And the last point is, your timeline is allowed to be slower. Other people's pace doesn't define yours. It doesn't matter how long you've been stuck. It matters that you want something different, and that you're willing to try again. Not for the result, but for the life you deserve to live. And I'll say this, trying again doesn't mean you failed before. It means you learned, you grew, you got knocked down and made the choice again to honor yourself. That's not failure, that's courage. I know what it feels like to look at someone's highlight reels and feel like you're somehow too far behind. The truth is, their pace is not your pace. Their journey is not your journey. And that is the superpower. A slower timeline isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of a life being built with intention. Think of it like this. Some of the most beautiful things in the world, like a strong tree or a perfectly brewed cup of tea, take time. You're not meant to be a fast food meal. You are a rich, complex dish being prepared with care. And sometimes, if you had what you wanted earlier than when your timeline gave it to you, you might not have been ready to really appreciate it or get the most value out of it. You might have messed it up. There's no way of knowing, and so you really can't compare your timeline to anyone else's. Because not one single person on this planet who has ever lived or will ever come to live has ever experienced your experiences, your upbringings, your beliefs, your thoughts, or your feelings. There's just no comparison. So, how do we honor this pace and stop the comparison? The next time you feel that pang of, I'm behind, put the phone down for 5 minutes. Take a deep breath and reconnect with your own journey. Remind yourself that your biggest competition is who you were yesterday or 6 months ago, and compare with her. Grab a notebook and just write down what you learned. Write down what you learned in the past year. What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about what you truly want? About the world? From the experiences you've had? Even the detours and the stalls taught you something valuable. Write that down. And most importantly, remember that trying again is not about running to the finish line. It just means you need to take one single step today. That's it. That's the work. Because a life built at your own speed is a life built on solid ground. It's a life that's truly yours, not one rushed and copied from someone else's. You're building something authentic, something that will last, something that you'll be proud of, that you'll be ready for, and that you can sustain, because it was on your terms, on your path. So let go of the pressure. Your timeline is exactly where it needs to be. Your best life isn't on someone else's schedule, it's on yours. So no, you're not starting over. You're starting from experience. You're not starting at square one. You're step one with wisdom now. You know what didn't work. You know what you need more of, what you need less of. You've survived enough to know you want something different. Maybe this time, instead of making a giant plan and trying to overhaul everything, you do just one thing. You pick one act of care that builds self-trust, and you show up for that daily. Make that consistent. Then you can build on that. You don't need to become a new you. You just need to come back to you. That real, soft, strong, wise version of you that's buried under the exhaustion and pressure and expectations. She's not gone. She's waiting. And every small act of alignment, every honest boundary, every moment of slowness where you finally listen to what you need, brings her back. So if you're tired of starting over, don't. Start small, start slower, start softer. But don't give up on yourself, because you're not here by accident. You're watching this because some part of you still believes things can be different. And you're right, they can. You just don't need to do it alone. If you're ready to rebuild your energy, rebuild your life from the inside out, I've got a free 7-day reset you can try. It's not a download that can disappear and is pointless. It's personal. You'll get your own kind of support through it. Tools that can actually help. Check out the link in the description if you're interested. It's a free guide to help get you started. Whatever you do though, don't let this just be another video. Let this be the moment you choose to try again. Not out of shame, but out of hope. You deserve a life you don't want to run away from. So until next time, stay intentional, protect your energy, and always show up for you.